So I am always looking for awesome new recipes to try, and about a year ago I subscribed to Delish, which is not just a physical magazine but also a website. And when I got this Christmas cooking magazine in the mail a couple of weeks ago, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to make a video out of this. There are so many delicious recipes in there. So today we are going to make a full meal using recipes out of this magazine. I'm going to make some spinach artichoke puff pastry trees. There are also a ton of other good recipes in there, and I have seen this magazine on sale at stores, so if you guys find it, be sure to pick it up. We're also going to make a whipped cranberry feta dip, and then they have a really good looking recipe in the magazine for beef Wellington. I ended up making ribeye steaks instead. There is also this really awesome looking recipe for eggplant parm. I was gonna make that, but it was just too much going on. But I still kind of want to go back and try this because it looks like a cross between a lasagna and an eggplant parm. I am gonna be making these Tuscan butter scallops. Turned out so good. And then this is the showstopper. If you like cookie butter, this is the recipe for you, a delicious Biscoff Trifle. We are making Biscoff Trifle. Now listen, how many calories does it look like this has? 1 million bajillion trillion, right? We're gonna try and make some swaps to make it a little bit lower in calories, a little bit less sugar, and still try to make it super delicious. I love Biscoff cookies. Some people call them airplane cookies. Whenever I fly on an airline that has Biscoff, you can bet I will be asking for a cup of coffee with my Biscoff on my flight because, you know, it's the simple joys, right? So in my mixer bowl here, we're gonna make the cake first for the trifle. There's several kind of like layers that go into this. There's the cake, and then there's like this cookie butter filling, the actual cookies, and then caramel sauce. So in my mixer bowl, I've got 1 stick of softened butter. The recipe calls for a cup of brown sugar. I'm using half and half regular brown sugar and Lakanto sweetener. I can link this down below. I just order it online. It's basically sugar-free brown sugar. And what I find, especially in baking, is if you use it half and half, it won't, you know, impact the texture of your baked goods or really the taste or anything in any way. I'm gonna add 2 eggs with some vanilla bean paste. So I've got the eggs added. I added half of the flour, which is 1 cup. And then for all of the spices for this cake, it called for cinnamon, anise, which I had to grind, actually using my mortar and pestle because all I had was anise seed. So I just ground it up in here. And then I also put ginger in there, nutmeg, cardamom, and I think that's it. I also need to get some baking soda and some salt. I've got a cup of buttermilk here, so I'm just gonna add about half of that, and then I'll mix this up. We'll add the other half of the flour, then the other half of the buttermilk, and it'll be done. So I put my cake batter in an 8-inch round pan, and I lined it with parchment paper. Just make sure that it doesn't stick. So I'm gonna stick this in a 350-degree oven for about 50 minutes. All right, so while the cake is in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and make the cookie butter mousse. So this is just 12 ounces of cream cheese. And again, we're substituting the 1/3 less fat cream cheese. I've got a pinch of salt in there, and then I'm gonna add some cookie butter. So I'm gonna whip this up first. This is pretty thick, so it may take a little bit. All right, so I mixed this up for about 4 minutes. It's light and fluffy. So now we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of cream while this is whisking. Ooh, doesn't that look good? Okay, so this can hold in the fridge for a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there just so it doesn't melt too much. Okay guys, future Jen here. It's actually later this evening and I just got out of the shower after all of that delicious food I made today. I'm looking forward to going to bed, and actually it's perfect because today's video is sponsored by Helix. You guys, I love my Helix mattress. I've had so many mattresses over the years, and Helix has been absolutely my #1 favorite mattress that Adam and I have ever tried. Every time anyone asks me, what mattress do you have? What mattress do you recommend? I always say Helix. And in fact, I just ordered one for Connor. It came last week. It's still in the garage. We need to get that set up sometime later this month when we're all on holiday break. Helix has premium mattresses that are customized to fit your needs and are conveniently shipped to your door. Helix also has a sleep quiz that will match you to the perfect mattress. So whether you sleep alone or with a partner, you can take their sleep quiz. It's super quick and easy, and it will match you with the right mattress for you based on your body type and sleep preferences. And yes, they have mattresses for plus size people. That's another question I get, and that's actually the one that Adam and I have. And we also have the Glaciotex cooling cover, which is awesome because we tend to be like hotter sleepers, or at least Adam does, and so that makes us not sweat to death every single night. Adam and I have had our mattress for over a year now, and we absolutely love it. Like I said, Helix delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping in the US. The mattress comes rolled up in a box and is super easy to set up. Even Adam remarked, like, while we were setting ours up, that it didn't take any tools, and honestly I think I could have done it on my own without his help. They also offer a 100-night sleep trial to make sure that you love your mattress. They also include a 10-year warranty, which I think is awesome, and if you need financing or payment options, they have you covered there as well. So Helix is offering my viewers 20% off, plus you're gonna get 2 free pillows. All you have to do is go to the link in the description box below. It's helixsleep.com/Jen Chapin. Again, that's gonna give you 20% off your mattress, plus you're gonna get 2 free pillows. I don't talk very much about the pillows, but I really love those as well. We have several of them for our bed. I love our Helix mattress, and I know you guys will too. So again, I'll have that link in the description box below. I'll also pop it up on the screen right here if you wanna tap on that. It's helixsleep.com/Jen Chapin. That's gonna give you 20% off your mattress plus 2 free pillows. Highly recommend you guys check it out. Now back to the delicious food. Okay, so we're gonna make this whipped feta dip with this like cranberry sauce on top of it. I'm kind of excited because I've always wanted to make whipped feta and I just never have. So first we're gonna start with the cranberry sauce. To a saucepan, I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of orange juice. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm gonna add 1 cup of fresh cranberries to the pot, along with a sprig of thyme. I just think this dish is like so Christmassy. Be so good for a Christmas party. And then I'm just gonna let this come to a boil, and we'll simmer it until it breaks down into a sauce. Okay, so I'm letting the cranberry sauce cool just in a bowl here, and I did add about a teaspoon of orange zest before I took it off the stove. So for the whipped feta, I've got 6 ounces of 1/3 less fat cream cheese in my food processor. And then I'm just gonna add 6 ounces of feta that I'm gonna cut up. Okay, so in here I've added my feta. I've also added some garlic, about 1 clove minced, and then some red pepper flakes. I've got the cream cheese in there. What else? Oh, also some fresh thyme. So I'm basically just gonna process this now until it all comes together, and then I'll leave it running and whisk in 2 tablespoons, or not whisk in, but stream in 2 tablespoons of olive oil until it's nice and fluffy. All right, so here it is, completed, nice and fluffy. I'm gonna transfer it to a dish. I'm gonna sprinkle on some chopped pistachios. All right, so here we've got our whipped feta with the cranberry sauce and pistachios. Yum. Okay, so if you like feta cheese, I definitely recommend this recipe. I think the cranberry sauce can be a little bit sweeter to kind of contrast with the feta, but it's definitely a really good holiday appetizer. I think it's like perfect for Christmas too because of the red and green. Okay, so our cake is done, and I've let it cool here on the rack for a little bit. I'm just gonna pop it out of the pan. You can see that I lined it with parchment paper, so it came out super easy. Taking it out of the pan, we'll just let it cool more quickly, and then once it's cooled completely, we can assemble the trifle. So we're gonna make the cover recipe, which are these spinach artichoke puff pastry trees. I think these look so cute, especially for like a Christmas party or a get together. So first I'm making the filling. So I have 6 ounces of 1/3 less fat cream cheese with some red pepper flake, some garlic. I'm gonna add some mozzarella cheese, about a cup of that. And then I've got 10 ounces of frozen spinach that I thawed and chopped and drained. Okay, so we've got our filling, and I've got 2 sheets of puff pastry here that I thawed out earlier today. So we're gonna dust with flour, and then we're gonna put our first layer down. Okay, it says roll out to 15 by 10. I guess I'm totally guessing because I don't have a ruler here. Okay, so we'll see if we can spread this out. I'm using an offset spatula, which I always recommend you guys get one of these. They are fantastic. Now I need to roll out. Now I don't have enough counter room to roll out the other piece. Okay, we're gonna put the top on and press it down. All right, and then we're cutting this into 12 strips. All right, so you're supposed to put a skewer through these, but the ones that I have are really too long, and if I try to break them, they splinter. So we're just gonna do it without the skewers. I've just basically formed them into trees on the baking sheet, and I'm gonna pop these into the oven. Okay, so review on the little spinach artichoke Christmas trees. I did cut out some stars with a little cookie cutter and some white cheddar cheese. I would say, like, I think these could be a bit more flavorful. Obviously they're super cute for a Christmas party, so I would recommend making them. I think maybe like brushing them with a little bit of butter before baking, maybe sprinkling them with some salt, or just seasoning the filling a little bit more would be good. But I did eat one, and you know, they're pretty good and they're cute, and obviously I think they would be super impressive at a party. So thumbs up. So for my ribeye steaks, I wanted to pull those out of the fridge and kind of let them rest at room temperature for a little bit. I season these with some blackening seasoning. Adam is always telling me that I don't season the steaks enough, so I made sure to season them really well. And then next I'm going to start on the Tuscan butter scallops. These turned out so good, and I really think this would be a good recipe to use with chicken as well. I think I can find all of these recipes online, so if I can, I'll link them in the description box below. But these were some beautiful scallops I got from my Good Chop box, super high quality. I'll link them down below as well. All right, so we're just gonna cook these on each side until they're golden brown and just cooked through. If your scallops have a little side muscle on the side, you just want to tear that off. Some of these did and some of these didn't. Most of them I would say didn't, but that's just, I mean, it's not going to hurt you if you eat it. It's just a little bit tough. And then I've got a plate there to keep them warm. And then I went ahead and cut up all the ingredients for the sauce. I need to grab my garlic. So I've got cherry tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes, and then I also diced up a shallot. Okay, so these are nice and golden brown. I'm gonna take them off, and whenever I keep things warm on the stove, there's like a vent in the back there because the oven's been on, and I'll just put the plate there to keep it warm and just make sure that doesn't get cold. I'm gonna add my onions, shallots, I'm gonna add 2 more tablespoons of butter. The recipe actually called for a yellow onion, but I'm cutting this recipe in half, and so I figured one, yellow onion, half of a shallot would be equivalent to half of that. And then I'm gonna add a tablespoon of minced garlic. I am adding 1 teaspoon of dried oregano and 1 teaspoon of dried basil. And we're gonna add some cooking wine. I've let this reduce a little bit, so I'm just going to add my tomatoes. So sun-dried tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. And then we'll cook until those start to burst. I think I just realized I messed up on some of the quantities because I forgot I was cutting this dish in half. So I may have put a little too much herbs in there. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna add some cream to the sauce. And then I did grate in some Parmesan cheese, but I think I need to grate in a little bit more. Then I need to read the recipe, make sure I'm not forgetting anything, and then just add the scallops back in to warm through. Okay, so the last step for the scallops was to stir in some fresh chopped spinach, and then I also put the scallops along with the juice back in after those had been resting. I did season this sauce to taste, but it was so good. I was gonna do sous vide for the ribeyes, but I didn't end up having time and I kind of forgot about it, honestly. So I just have a stainless steel skillet here with some canola oil, and I'm just gonna cook these on the stovetop, which will be just fine. If they brown too quickly, then I'll just finish them in the oven. So I let our steaks rest in the warm oven for a little bit. These look so good. So I decided to try out these au gratin potatoes. So we'll test those out. There was actually a recipe for au gratin potatoes in the Delish magazine, but I knew that I was gonna be cooking a bunch of things, and I thought, well, I'll take a shortcut from Good Chop. And then, oh my gosh, this turned out so good. I really definitely think this could be served over pasta. Like, this would make a really good pasta sauce. I also think it would be good with chicken. I would also try to make it lighter with like half and half instead of cream, but the sauce is super flavorful. It's really good. All right, so here is what our plate looked like. Of course, we had the delicious steak that was cooked perfectly at medium, and yes, it was well seasoned. Thank you very much. We had those au gratin potatoes on the side. Those were super convenient as well. I didn't have to go through all the hassle of making a big pan of them, and they turned out great. And then also we had the Tuscan butter scallops. Yum. Okay, let's put together this trifle now that we have all of the components. So, okay, you're supposed to spread half a cup of Cool Whip on the bottom of the dish. I have light Cool Whip. All right. Okay, so I cut this one cake round into a smaller circle, and I'm just gonna place it on top of the whipped cream. And then we gotta top that with half of the mousse. Arrange cookies upright along the perimeter of the trifle dish. It should fit 12 to 14. Okay. Am I doing this right? Sure. Okay. Whipped cream. Okay, and then you're supposed to drizzle caramel sauce on top. I got the sugar-free caramel sauce. Okay, so next we have to do the other cake circle. Okay, and we're doing the rest of the cookie butter mousse. Okay, last bit of Cool Whip. Ta-da! Look at that. That took a lot of work. So you can see there's like Cool Whip on the bottom, cake, cookie butter mousse, cookies, cookie butter mousse, Cool Whip, and then caramel on the top with a couple of Biscoff cookies. So, I mean, it looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay, so if you guys like Biscoff cookies or cookie butter, I highly, highly recommend you try this recipe. It is obviously a very time-intensive dessert, but I think it's great for holiday parties when you want to put a little bit more effort in. I also think it's great for a crowd because it does feed a lot of people. Definitely recommend. I can't say enough good things about it. And even with the lighter ingredients, I couldn't really taste the difference. Don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Helix. You can get 20% off your mattress plus 2 free pillows. And if you want to see my very last working mom travel vlog of 2023, you can click this video right here.